Going, Fiona McAnena. Hey, McAnena. Fiona's back. She's from Sex Matters. Hello.
Hello, Jeremy.
Don't mind me doing that, do you? Come on. It's
no,
only,
I don't
it's
mind.
the only. Can I do it again? Hey, McAnena. She's back. Fiona, thank you so much indeed. Spoke to your colleague Helen Joyce 2 hours ago. Everybody up in arms about this. For people who are just tuning in, Rishi Sunak today intervened in a row between Kemi Badenoch, the Tory minister, and actor David Tennant, who turned up at the LGBTQ+ awards last week in a suit looking like a villain out of a Bond movie. And this is what he had to say. Have you got the clip? Are you ready, Amy? Are you on the button? This is what David Tennant had to say. Have a listen to this, peeps.
I suppose if I'm honest, I'm a little depressed by the fact that acknowledging that everyone has the right to be who they want to be and live their life how they want to live it, as long as they're not hurting anyone else, should merit any kind of special award or special mention, because it's common sense, isn't it? It is human decency. We shouldn't live in a world where that is worth remarking on. However, until we wake up and Kemi Badenoch doesn't exist anymore, I don't wish ill of her, I just wish her to shut up.
Playing to the audience, of course, as ever, Fiona. Thoughts on that? Because I suspect, and I could be wrong, that Kemi Badenoch, being a black conservative woman who believes that a woman is a woman and woman's rights are important, is the absolute nightmare that those people, those lovies, hate on a daily basis, isn't she?
Well, there's nothing new, I think, about a celebrity having a go at a politician in a place where he's going to get rapturous applause. We didn't hear it there, but you've probably heard it before. It's easy point scoring, isn't it? And right now it's pretty easy to score points against a former Conservative minister. But she was the Minister for Women and Equalities, and she knows what she's talking about. And what I think's really worrying about this is whatever David Tennant thinks is the great, liberal position that he's taking up, the implication of saying to a child, you can change sex, or you can be neither a boy nor a girl, or because you're a little boy who doesn't like football and likes dresses, maybe you should be a girl. The implication of that is you're confusing children with stereotypes. Yeah. And even that might not matter, but so many of these children then become fearful about puberty. If they get puberty blockers, their bodies are seriously harmed. So this is not, this is no laughing matter, and it shouldn't be just a reason to get some cheap laughs at an award, at an LGBT awards. I think it's a shame to see him do that.
Do you believe, as I was trying to say earlier, and we've had so many people responding to this and agreeing, I worry that we've got to a point in society. I gave the example of my daughter's school, where within, I think, 6 months, 11 kids, girls, were seeing a child psychologist, right? Because they weren't sure of their sexuality. I repeat what I said 2 hours ago. I think the worrying thing for me is that transitioning, something so massive, is not something that should be treated so lightly and so trivially, to almost be sheep-like because your peers are doing it. It is, I am sure, an incredibly difficult, emotional and energy-sapping decision over many, many years. And you're right when you say, are we saying to our kids that's all right to think like that? I think it's dangerous. Really do.
Well, there is evidence from the US, a book called Irreversible Damage, and another study by an academic that shows that there is an element of social contagion, that girls in particular do tend to want to identify out of girlhood in friendship groups. And again, as David Tennant says, we should celebrate, but it shouldn't be a big deal for people to be who they want to be. And I fully agree with them on that. What I think is sad is that these children are being told that who they are isn't okay, that they have to somehow change. And I think that's a regressive step. And it's not a trivial decision, as you say. And then on top of that, to store up even more misery for them, people will tell them that groups like ours hate them because they're trans. Well, we really don't. What we want is for children to be allowed to grow up free from stereotypes and for no one to go telling them that there's something wrong with them.
Today, Wes Streeting, Shadow Health Secretary, and likely to obviously be that Health Secretary in Starmer's cabinet if they win the election, admitted that Labour, Fiona, has lost women's trust over trans issues. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the issue we've got here is women's rights. You know, we thought that being half the population, it wouldn't be treated as a niche issue. But every time we talk about women's rights or the impact of the demands of some people on to get into women's spaces, women's sports, even though they're male, people say that's a niche issue. It's only a few people. It's only a few trans people. Why can't you just be kind? And what they're really doing is they're trivializing the needs of half the population. And that is, yes, that is a very unpleasant position to find yourself in as a voter, that's what politicians think.
The other story that I wanted to talk to you about, because it just sends me through the roof, and I've actually been really calm with you, Fiona McAnena. The police in London today, and I mean, honestly, please, have been rightly criticised. So terrified are they of using language that might offend the few. You know, words matter, words hurt. Forget the damn victim. A man, sorry, well, I'm not allowed to say that. A transgender woman who was a man raped a woman with his penis, I'm just being straight, and the police don't call it man rapes woman. They say person convicted of rape because they don't want to offend the transgender community. And I would suggest, Fiona, without, you know, being flippant, being deadly serious, is that what we've come to? Because the people I speak to in this country are laughing at us increasingly in this quest to be inclusive and caring and great, absolutely great. But we've gone so far the other way, we're making a mockery of it, aren't we?
Yeah, well, it's the ultimate male crime as well, isn't it, rape? And
yes.
So many sexual assaults go without charge, never mind conviction, that it's pretty insulting to women that the feelings of this man, this rapist, somehow have to be pandered to.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I think that's a baby step forward, because I've previously seen headlines where they would have called that person woman. And now they're sort of saying we got a bit of a problem here. So if we can just inch them back to common sense and say, look, you know that's a man, and it's not a crime to say so. So
well, they were talking earlier, Helen brought up the subject of Isla Bryson. And, I shall be as basic now as I was 2 hours ago. Man rapes 2 women, right, and puts on a dress, right, and a wig, and thinks he can be in a female prison. To me, the people that made that decision are putting those other women in danger. He raped 2 women. Surely we're not going to get to a point where people can use transitioning as an excuse to what? Get away with crime? That's appalling.
Yeah, I mean, there's already evidence from Scotland that because it's easy to say, for a man to say I'm a woman and try and get access to the female estate, that is quite a common claim that is being made there, and that men who have been in the women's estate, when they come out, then discover their manhood again. Surprise, surprise. So, you know, this isn't about whether trans people are good, bad, or indifferent. This is about the fact that we segregate people by sex for everyone's benefit, but primarily for the safety of women. And we really shouldn't make it easy or give easy reasons why a man can break that boundary, that norm, and get access to women. It's not good for women.
I love having you on the show. Fiona McAnena, thank you very much indeed. Director of Campaigns at Sex